Hi, everybody. So I'm not sure if you saw this, and I wanted to bring this to your attention. Um, President Obama, the former president of America, only a month after the Hamas October 7th massacre, where they murdered, mutilated, raped, kidnapped, burnt, beheaded Jews and Israeli citizens. Just after that, a month later, President Obama gave a speech where he was going to give his wonderful wisdom to the world. And what did he say? He said that nobody's hands are clean. And he basically spoke about how there are issues on both sides, and quite frankly, was making an absurd, perverse moral equivalency between Israel and Hamas. And Bill Maher, the American talk show host, slammed Obama for this. And before I elaborate on Obama's words, I want to show you what Maher had to say. So have a listen.
I must say, I am struggling with people's moral equivalency still. I mean, Barack Obama, who has rarely disappointed me, did so this week. I mean, his statement, it's not a horrible statement, but he said, if you want to solve the problem, then you have to take in the whole truth, and then you have to admit nobody's hands are clean. Literally, that's true, of course. But just give you two examples where this is, I don't think, a helpful statement at this moment. First of all, the attack was only a month ago. A more savage attack than we've ever seen in reverse. There's a big difference between collateral damage and what Hamas did. Secondly, okay, the Israelis are now allowing a 4-hour pause for people to get out. I'm sorry, people say, oh, wow, big of them. Okay, but it is a war that the other side started. So interesting. When they fire at Israel, it's a war. When Israel fires back, it's a war crime. Little crazy.
Wow, I think he makes some important points there. And I have to say that I think, as many people have said, fair-minded people, they were appalled by Obama's statements. Obama, and this really can help us make sense of his whole foreign policy with regard to Israel, he does create a moral equivalence between the two. An idea of, well, both sides have made mistakes and their problems, and there are legitimate grievances. And it is so wrong. I cannot think of a time ever where Israel, when they felt aggrieved, even, let's say, before Israel existed, when we've experienced as a nation other atrocities, did we, in response, go out and behead and rape and try to annihilate a whole group of people? I mean, it's so wrong, and it feeds into the narrative that wants to demonize Israel. Because at every step of the way, Israel has always tried to extend its hand in peace. It's always had a far stronger claim to the land, both whether you look at it historically, through indigeneity, through a religious lens, through international law. And there was once a Jewish sovereign state. There never was a Palestinian one. And they've always tried to find ways to live peacefully and to divide the land and create agreements. But no, Obama says that there's some kind of equivalence to be made when the Jewish people are reeling from the worst massacre they've faced since the Holocaust. It is just outrageous. But basically, what you have to understand is, what this all comes down to is whether you look at the Israeli-Arab conflict as being about one of there are legitimate grievances on the Palestinian side. And because they are legitimate grievances, we have to try to find a way to cater to those grievances and realize that Israel really has done some things that are worthy of ongoing grievance. Or there's the other camp, which says actually the hostility that they have to Israel is because it's annihilationist, it's exterminationist, and it's rooted not in legitimate grievance, but in illegitimate grievance, in ideology, in a view of Islamist takeover and supersession, and that they see Israel as a threat to that, their view of how history should unfold. And it's not about Palestinian national self-determination. They don't care about that because Palestinian leaders, both past and present, have said that they're not interested in that. It's just a ploy to get rid of Israel. If they could be they see themselves as part of southern Syria, and they'd be happy to be part of that to restore Arab unity. So those who are in that camp realize that actually this is an ideological issue, and those groups who are hostile to Israel need to have a reform. They need to grow up morally, politically, and in all senses. And so I think that's the root of Obama's comments. And Bill is right to call out what he's doing, but it's important we also get to the roots of how people can come to such views so that we can truly educate and enlighten and tackle these issues head on. I'm Ollie Annisfeld, and you're watching JTV.